In 2014, Caroline Kaiser boarded Malaysian Airlines Flight 17 from Amsterdam for a vacation in Indonesia with her boyfriend. It was supposed to be a brief break for the hardworking Kaiser, a bright and talented graduate student who was studying ways to treat Alzheimer's patients at Indiana University. But when the plane crossed over the Donetsk region of Ukraine, it was shot down by a surface-to-air missile 30 miles from the Russia-Ukraine border in an area controlled by pro-Russian separatists. Kaiser died thousands of miles from her home in the Netherlands. She was 25 years old. A further investigation showed the separatists had launched the missile because they mistook the passenger plane for a Ukrainian military transport. It was the deadliest airline shoot-down incident in history, and today Russia has never admitted responsibility in that crash, even while investigators deduce the missile launcher came from a Russian air brigade. Russia also refused to extradite the 4 men who a Dutch investigation team believed responsible. Today, Caroline Kaiser and the 297 other souls aboard MH17, 80 of whom were children, are listed in a grim official tally of sorts, that of thousands of innocent civilians whose lives were cut short as a result of Russian President Vladimir Putin's territorial ambitions across not only Ukraine, but some scholars say the whole of the former Soviet Union.
Those are pictures from Ukraine tonight. Ukraine now fighting for its survival after the Russian invasion.
Hey, Scott, what's the latest?
Hi, ladies. This is a developing situation over in Ukraine.
For local academics familiar with the ongoing tension between Ukraine and Russia, that innocent lives will be ended by this war in the way Kaiser's was is an inevitability.
What have the past few weeks been like for you?
It was a hell, frankly speaking. Yeah, because I realized that we are on the brink of the war, and not just war in East Europe. It will be the new war for, zones of influence.
As Russia pushes further into the country, civilians have already been killed and are threatened as violence continues. Natalia Shpailova-Syed said people in Ukraine are doing what they can to either get out or stay safe.
I have my mom who's in her 70s and who lives by herself in an apartment, and she goes to bed and she tells me, well, probably I will go to bed dressed today because I don't know what's going to happen at night.
And Dr. Sergei Zuk from Ball State University is an expert in Ukrainian-American relations and also has friends and family still in the country.
And I have relatives there. I have friends there. Former students live in eastern Ukraine. So for me, it will be personal.
But violence between Ukraine and Russia didn't just pop up overnight. Russia has been backing a bloody armed rebellion in eastern Ukraine for the past 8 years. Some 14,000 people and an estimated 3,000 civilians have died in the fighting since then.
This small eastern bloc of Ukraine is what Russia and Ukraine have been fighting over. Really, this has been an 8-year battle for this piece of land now coming to a head.
About 1.5 million people have already been displaced by that war. The United States estimates 5 million people would have to evacuate, a displacement not seen since World War II. Research conducted by the Civilians in Conflict in 2021 found this years-long war in eastern Ukraine was a testing ground of sorts for the Russian military for the application of new warfare techniques, which differ from previous warfare techniques in the way digital technologies can be exploited against civilian populations. Amnesty International also predicts the invasion would have an impact on the human rights of Ukrainians, citing a series of Russian airstrikes in residential areas conducted in Syria between September and November of 2015. Amnesty International reported at that same time that Russian aircraft was targeting both schools and hospitals in Syria. Shpailova-Syed and Zuk also said the rhetoric that's employed by Russian President Vladimir Putin has employed when discussing the invasion is a cause for concern.
Putin decided to punish Ukraine. He declared Ukrainian revolution a coup, a conspiracy. He did not recognize Ukrainian elections. He annexed Crimea. He annexed eastern part of Donbass, now so-called the People's Republic. And he still continued to punish Ukraine.
If we talk about the war, so we talk about the war which started in 2014, but not in 2022 today. And unfortunately, the rhetoric about divided Ukraine, so to speak, has been circulated in the West as well. And it contributed to today's escalation and to today's even more aggressive war.
In a speech delivered February 21st, Putin falsely called Ukraine an illegitimate country and characterizing the independent nation of some 44 million people as a fractured and anti-Russian regime, which it's not. It's this type of rhetoric that academics say they haven't seen before.
Listen to his focus on punishing those Ukrainian radicals who started a revolution. He promised to kill them. Can you imagine? First time. Even Hitler, even Stalin never did this. Putin was the first who publicly denied the existence of Ukraine as an independent nation.
For now, Zouk and Shvailova Sayed are waiting, alongside the rest of the world, to see how an invasion could impact the lives of their family in Ukraine, hoping that they remain strong in the face of more aggressions precipitated by Russia.
And I really applaud my counterparts in Ukraine. I really applaud my compatriots in Ukraine who changed their mottos, their slogans from Save Ukraine that prevailed in 2014 to Ukrainians will resist.
But also praying that more innocent lives won't be caught in the crossfire. The Russian invasion of Ukraine marks the first war in Europe since World War II. For more updates on the developing situation in Ukraine, head to WTHR.com.